Happy equinox to everyone. Happy Ostara. Happy equal light and equal dark. This is a beautiful morning now at Bealtaine Cottage because we reached at about 6:30 this morning, that very special day, the day of equinox, of equal light and equal dark. In many ways, that day has been taken over by St. Patrick's Day, as most of the ancient festivals have been. They've been Christianised or brought into mainstream, so to speak. But this is actually a very earthy day. It's really a celebration of Mother Earth in many ways, because it is the time when everything really begins to push forward. There's been lots of plants in the garden and lots of trees that have come into their own very slowly over recent weeks, because Imbolc was on February the 1st. But as the light has grown daily, day by day, there's been more life itself pushing out from the earth. I mean, for example, these are two little peach trees that I grew from seed. Yeah, I actually grew from seed. Well, they grew in the compost heap from seed and I took them out and planted them. But they're actually peach trees, and this is the first year, the very first year, that we have blossom on them. Look at this. Isn't that magical? And there. So we may even get some peaches from these trees this year. And I'm just noticing there at the very back, look at that. You see the blossom? The birds are singing, they're mating, nesting, and the wood pigeons are really just enjoying the extra light, because with the light comes warmth. I must just show you this ribes bush up here, because of course I've got lots of ribes all over the garden, and you know why. It's there for the bees, very much for the bees. And I never bought a ribes bush, because you know that these will just grow so readily from a little piece just put straight into the earth, which is what I've done here. But I want to show you the tallest ribes bush here in the garden. I say the garden, this is one of many gardens here at Bealtaine. And this is it here. Isn't that amazing? So it'll actually grow like a small tree. And of course it's laden, absolutely laden with nectar and pollen-rich flowers. Now, there's a pear tree, I'll just focus in on, and that's budding up very thickly. There's a little robin up there. This is willow in front of me. So it's cut willow, but it's more pollarded, so it's kept up pretty high. This is just coming in round the back of the Lunacy garden. And you can see Kilronan Mountain over there. I'm having to tread quite warily because there was torrential rain yesterday, so the land is quite wet. This is my soft fruit garden I'm just developing. You can see here where I've put all the rhubarb in. And I have another crabapple tree to put in there, and that one is a mulberry. So here on this side is the Lunacy garden, which is still under development. Probably won't be finished till about the end of April or thereabouts. That's a little flowering cherry tree that I grew from seed. It's a crabapple tree there. That'll have extensive blossom on it. There's a few plants in here that I've put in for a little bit of architectural sort of shape. But everything is here for the bees and the butterflies. This is some Cotoneaster that I've grown from cuttings. Got to put that in. There's another little apple tree I've put in there. And you can see I've mulched around the bottom with cardboard and straw. The rhubarb always does well. And these are some of the older apple trees. With geranium planted underneath, and black currant, which is leafing out. This is a plum tree. This is another little apple tree put in just a few years ago. Down there there's more rhubarb, and in front of it there is blueberry. And then here, lots of rhubarb, black currant. And this is a flowering plum. So it's an ornamental plum. I did cut that back quite a lot last year. And then down there is towards the fairy wood. Now we come into the tunnel, and I've cleared all the small bits of wood that were drying there. There's basically lots and lots of blackcurrant cuttings, and I've put all that over into the little wood shed, and that'll do as kindling for next year. So I've put both the egg chairs here in the tunnel, because of course that's going to be a really lovely place to sit, and especially for visitors and people who come on workshops and courses. It's very important to have a little area where you can meditate in a secure, dry setting. You know, we're here in the west of Ireland, so we need to be thinking of places where we can sit comfortably without getting wet. So as you can see, the tunnel is now, I'll just pull back, go back here to the door. You can see the tunnel is all taking shape. I've worked really hard on this over the past few months, well over the course of the winter. It's been a long process, completely remodelling the tunnel and creating the lunacy garden outside. But as you can see, it's worth it because it's all coming together. And the little rambling rose that I planted down there, I'll just show you up close. Look at that, really coming into life. Isn't that beautiful? And then over here on the other side, there's a white evergreen clematis, and that's just beginning to flower. That's the sort of unusual plant. I thought it would be interesting to grow in here. The idea is that the clematis is going to grow up this way and meet the rose somewhere about halfway, and that's just over the table. So I've sown some seeds here in the old polystyrene fish box, and I've put a window frame on the top. There's some plants coming up on this side, mostly things I haven't planted, they've just come up from seed. So I've got some lovely poppies coming up there, which I'm going to leave, so I love to see the poppies come up. And I've got some kale. I did sow some carrot seeds up there at the very top. And got a little bit of blossom here on this peach tree. Now, I didn't grow this peach tree myself. This is actually a grafted one, and you can see down there, there's a graft. Look at that. I'm hoping to have peaches this year on this tree. There's quite a few little bits of blossom. And the grapevine seems to be doing well. I give that a good prune. And of course, I heavily pruned the bay tree to give it shape. And I'm very pleased with that. So I've got some flat leaf parsley to put in here. That was grown from seed last year, popped into pots. So this side is just for herbs, as I said before, and maybe some small green edibles. And then here there's lemon balm, that's really greening up well, and lavender, and rosemary, nectarine tree, and see where a lot of water's come through the tunnel. The rain yesterday was just so amazingly heavy, and there was a lot of flooding, but not here. There wasn't flooding on this site. Because of the amount of swales and ditches and stream beds and ponds that have been dug here, I am virtually safe from flooding. Of course, it's not guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed. Now this is, I can't remember the name of it. I think it's one of the Japanese salads, but anyway, it's been growing all the way through the winter. It's a very, very vigorous plant, and it looks as though it's going to flower. So I'm going to leave that one in situ to flower, to be pollinated, and hopefully get some wonderful seeds from what is a very strong plant. And you can see underneath, growing up through it, lots of sage. Seems to like the sage. They've just been very happy together there. And down here, masses of feverfew, some of which is in flower. I think that's just from one plant. You know, it kind of spreads and flops out. Got some thyme there at the front. So I'll sit down here in the egg chair, one of them, and got to clear up those leaves there. And you can get an idea then of what I see when I'm sitting down having my tea. I think William Morris would very much approve of this tunnel because it is both beautiful and practical. Lots of growing space, and not just for plants, growing space for people too. There's some little frogs in here. I think there's 2 frogs and a toad. And they sort of they forage in around the stone walls and some of the permanent plants. I think that's probably one of the reasons why it's important to have permanent plants in a tunnel, you know, because you give a sense of permanency and habitat to whatever creatures are going to make it their home. And we all know that frogs and toads are absolutely wonderful for keeping down the slug population, which can be pretty heavy here in Ireland. Now, can you see all that white fur? It's kind of white and grey. There's some big grey clumps there too. I'll show you. This, I think, is from the badger. You see those grey clumps there? This is from the badger. Oh, there's a poor worm there, look, trying to struggle in that dry. Poor thing, look at this. Look, can you see? I'm going to put him onto a nice wet. There we go. I might even just put a little bit of water over the top of him there. There we go. It's got very dehydrated. Very dehydrated. Now, look, come back to life. Yes, look at that. That's it. Put a little bit more water on him, I think. There we go. Now, there. Yes, as I was saying, the badger and badgers live here in the garden. There's a badger set just over to the right of that big ash tree. And at this time of the year, if it's not too windy, I leave the doors open. So there's been a bit of cavorting in underneath my table. It's quite funny. Got a big compost heap there, which I shall empty out at the end of the summer. And I've got one round here, which is covered in straw. It should be worth opening that one up, say around the end of April. Just walk on down round this way. Then I have to go over and get ready to go out. Got a lot of things to do today, like posting hundreds of books. I must just show you Sleeve and Erin. Just walk down here. Because it's a fairly clear morning. Okay, I'll just zoom in here. That's Sleeve and Erin there. You see? That's the mountain where the Tuatha De Danann, or the Tua De Danann, first made their appearance. Magical. I'll just walk on around this way. And these are the bins for my compost. You can see they're tucked away in a nice little area, and takes about a year for the compost to break down. I normally leave it about a year and a half, and because it's all in separate bins, it's easy to take out the most recent one. You know, it's not all mixed up together. Of course, it's very well used here at Bealtaine. This is a little cherry tree here, which I planted last year and then mulched with cardboard and straw. And you can see that cardboard and straw has kept the weeds back for over a year. So it's given this little tree a good head start. This is very important in any garden. Create little wood piles like this. This one's been here for about 3 years now, and vital habitat for small mammals, frogs and toads, etc., and birds. This is a pear tree. You can see some of the buds and the blossoms starting to break out. This is a plum. I should really have cut that back last August, but didn't get round to it. This is a little cherry. And you can see that my archways here are made of everything. So there's ribes, roses, Virginia creeper, willow, jostaberry and blackcurrant. You can make archways out of anything that grows. Plants don't mind being shape shifted a little bit. And you can see the top of this arch, all the things that are coming through on it. It's not perfectly round, but it's quite beautiful in its simplicity. It's a double arch there, you can see. So, here I am rambling on. I'm going to go back into the cottage now, make some tea. The sun's gone in there a little bit, into the clouds. The little wood pigeon up there. They're beautiful creatures. Do you know, I could never understand people who want to go out shooting birds and shooting wildlife, killing. I prefer the opposite. Living. Let everything live. Creates wonderful energy. And that's what life is all about. It's about energy, vibration, spiraling energy, wonderful energy. So, that's just a little bit of the gardens today. Just a little bit. On the next nice warm day, I'll take the camera all the way around the gardens. We'll go for a long walk. I wish you now a very happy Ostara, and blessings of light and good energy to you.